Hello, and welcome to Season 4 of Baltimore Pioneers, coming to you from the newly renovated Parkway Theater. As always, we're here to talk with compelling thinkers and doers in Baltimore. I'm Mark Doty, and thanks for tuning into the student-produced show. Our guest in this episode is Piper Watson, co-creator of the Station North Tool Library, a place that lets DIYers borrow tools that would otherwise be expensive and holds tons of great classes. How are you this afternoon?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So tell us about the tool library. What's it all about?
So the tool library works just like a book library, but you can borrow tools, anything from hammers to welders and all stuff in between. We also have a public workshop where people can take classes from woodworking to furniture making, even skateboard making, and it's open free for members twice a week to use to work on whatever projects they have.
That's amazing. I really like the skateboard making.
Right.
So one of the first things I noticed about the tool library is that the membership operates on a sliding scale. Can you tell us what exactly that sliding scale is and why it's important for that kind of thing to be there?
Sure. So we ask people to give $1 for every $1,000 a year that they make. So if they had a great year and they made $100,000, it would be $100. And then there's no additional fee to borrow tools, just if they're late. The minimum that people could pay for the year is $15. So it sort of balances things out when you have people in an area that make a lot of money and then people that may not make very much money or a lot of students. It kind of levels the playing field.
So like building on that, because we've got a lot of people who make a lot of money and a lot of people who don't, why should tools be accessible to everyone?
Because everybody needs tools, at least at one point in their life, from the recent college graduate who just wants to hang curtains in their new apartment, or from the senior citizen around the corner that just wants to fix a creaky stair, to the couple that just bought a fixer-upper and is trying to renovate the entire thing and save money. Everybody needs tools at some point in their life, and tools can be expensive. They can also take up a lot of space, especially if you live in a tiny Baltimore row house. So how many times would you need a tile saw after you renovate your bathroom? Probably not very often. So what's the point of owning one when we can share it?
Right. So I was wondering, what kind of issues in Baltimore could be solved if there were accessible tools?
That's a really good question, and it probably has a lot of answers, but I would say that one of the main issues that Baltimore has is that the housing stock is really old. So a lot of the common problems that people have in maintaining their house, you see all the time. People coming into the library and they have, leaky faucets, or they have plaster over brick walls, which can be really hard even if you just want to hang a picture. So having affordable access to tools means that people can maintain these older houses without it costing them so much money for having to hire a professional to come in and do something that could be very simple and only take an hour of your time.
Right, because we see a lot of houses that aren't maintained, and a lot of times that's not the person who owns them's fault. It's a bigger issue.
Exactly, and a lot of times it is like not having the right tool for the job and being afraid to figure out how to do the job. A lot of what we do at the tool library is demystifying the process of fixing things yourself, and then also giving you advice of, I don't know, that looks a little sketchy, you might want to call a professional.
So, in that demystifying process, what are some positions at the tool library?
Sure. So we only have 3 paid staff members. The rest is volunteer run. Our 3 paid staff is myself. I'm the director of operations. We also have a tool library manager who handles outreach and our home repair education classes, and our public workshop director who develops all of our other classes, from the woodworking, furniture making, skateboarding, gardening and permaculture classes. He's in charge of making sure that we have good teachers for those classes and interesting curriculum that people want to come and spend their time there.
So how do you guys go about getting the word out so that everybody knows that they have access to accessible tools?
A lot of it's word of mouth, especially just going out on the street, especially in our neighborhood, going door to door and just making sure that people know that we're there. Partnering with a lot of community events, tabling at things, handing out flyers. We participate in specific events every year and then are always looking for new ways to engage with people that maybe don't know about us or a demographic that we feel like could really benefit from our services. There's a lot of single parent households in Baltimore, so we really try to find out, where are single parents going? How are they receiving their information? And how can we make sure that they know about this resource? So from word of mouth to community events to traditional marketing, like ads in newspapers, flyers in like hospital cafeterias for employees, things like that. We try to be strategic.
Yeah, I found out about you guys through your Instagram.
Awesome.
And I was scrolling and I saw you guys had like somebody made a 12 o'clock boys clock. That was pretty funny. So we're gonna take a quick break from our conversation with Piper Watson. When we return, we'll talk about how the Tool Library brings people together. Stay tuned.
Modernizing school buildings for Baltimore City students has begun, like right here at Arundel Elementary School.
Amazing new spaces to learn in.
Yes, through this program, schools and communities are being brought together in a brand new way.
And I'm so proud to be part of this effort.
That's right. Construction jobs are open and internships are available. Discover more about the program at www.baltimore21stcenturyschools.org.
Building a brighter future together.
The most important thing is to try to find out what you want to do with your life. Well, I've always wanted to be a doctor, so that's sort of like guided me, and that's sort of like been my motivation to do so well in school. And that will be your motivation. If you say, hey, I want to be a photographer, then you'll work towards that. If you want to be a doctor, you'll work towards that. And you'll pick the college, or you'll do whatever. You'll pick the internships, and that will sort of guide you. So try to find some type of long-term goal if you can, and just let that guide you like I did.
Everyone has a role to play when it comes to making sure each student is in school every day. By working together, the entire school community can create a school climate that makes school a place where students want to be, and a place where teaching and learning can thrive. Schools where students and families feel welcomed, supported, and respected reinforce a culture of high attendance expectations and are exciting places to be. So do your part in making sure that all of our students are in school every day, ready to learn.
These are our future: engineers and electricians,
software designers and doctors,
construction workers and childcare providers.
They will build apps and houses, create menus and video games,
work with cutting-edge technology and kids.
They'll be found in classrooms and courtrooms, construction sites, and computer labs.
They are Baltimore City Public School students. They are career and technology education.
Welcome back to Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Marquette Doty, here with Piper Watson from the Station North Tool Library. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just how your tool library, brings the community together. So I was wondering, I know a little bit about the Fixit Fair. So can you tell us about that and how it's sort of bringing people together to fix their stuff?
Sure. So the Fixit Fair actually started from an idea in Europe called repair cafes. And repair cafes, or our version, the Fixit Fair, is basically a free event where people can bring in any item that's beloved but broken that they want to get a little coaching on to fix it themselves. So again, talking about that demystifying process, DIYing, doing things for yourself, it's not hard. Sometimes you just need someone to maybe hold your hand a little bit, and that's fine. So we have volunteers that can repair clothing, repair small electronics, small pieces of furniture, cell phones, you name it. And they come in and they set up these tables, and then a person can come in with their item and they actually get to fix it, but they've got like a coach there helping them fix it. Again, totally free event. And it's a really nice thing to bring the community together because you have all different types of people that have the skills to fix them, and then all different types of people that really want to learn those skills or just have their beloved item repaired. They don't necessarily want to spend a lot of money on it, and it's kind of a nice collaboration. Relationships are forged. Oftentimes people that would never have otherwise met become friendly with each other, and that's a really cool thing to see. So the Fixit Fair we try to do once every season. The next one is March 24th. It's a Saturday from 11 until 2. And again, it's a free event, so it's a really wonderful thing to come and see, even if you don't have something to get fixed.
Oh, that's great. So my favorite teddy bear is broken. Can I bring it in?
Absolutely. We'll sew that arm back on and teach you how to use a sewing machine. I'm guessing it's an arm. It could be an eye.
So how can building stuff bring a community together?
Like what kind of stuff? Any kind of stuff?
Any kind of stuff.
I think building things in general is a really satisfying thing to learn how to do, but it's also a nice conversation starter. So for example, if somebody came into the library, and we have a lot of women members. Probably 52% of our members and class takers are women. And a lot of them have recently bought fixer-upper houses, and they're trying to save money and do a lot of stuff themselves. So they have a lot of questions when they come in. And not any one of us is an expert at everything, but collectively we have this shared knowledge base. So they might ask me a question and get an answer, and then I might not know something. So then we'll go to another volunteer or one of our home repair instructors or another member. And then all of a sudden they've asked 6 or 7 people how to solve 6 or 7 things, and they've started to create a little community, a little network of people that are helping them help their home. So it's kind of a nice friendship builder in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's amazing, like a little fixers club.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is one project that's been made at the Tool Library that you can think of that's kind of like created unity?
Wow, that's a really great question. Honestly, I would have to say that a lot of just building the library itself has created unity. When my husband John started the library, he was the only employee, and myself and 2 other women were the only volunteers. And now we've grown to 40 volunteers, 15 teachers, and 3 paid staff members in just 4.5 years, which is a gigantic family. There's a lot of moving parts. I think there's 9 shop dogs now. And I think the creation of the library itself and how it functions, how it can continue to grow and be a positive resource for people has created unity not only amongst us, but the people we touch, the members that come in that just like being there. That, you know, so many times I hear that it's people's happy place, and I see people come in, even if they don't have projects going on, they just want to sit and chat. Kind of like that show from the 80s, Cheers, where everybody knows your name. That's the library, and I think creating it itself has created a unified little collective of people in the corner of Baltimore.
I like that. I should come in sometime, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take another quick break and come back as we discuss ways the Tool Library makes Baltimore brighter.
So I'm in Baltimore City. I graduated from Baltimore City College in class of 2013. Now I'm at UMBC and I am working on a biology degree. I'm graduating this May, and hopefully I'll get into Johns Hopkins or University of Maryland Medical School. I can be a doctor.
Hi students and families, you can get to thousands of free online books in 3 easy steps. First, log on to www.kidsa-z.com or download the Kids A through Z app. Next, enter the teacher username. You should have received this already from your teacher. If you haven't, ask for it at school tomorrow. And finally, click on Reading Room and pick a book. If you need any help, please ask your child's teacher.
Work is underway on modernizing school buildings, like here at Fort Worthington Elementary Middle School.
The type of school buildings we deserve.
Our new schools will provide community-friendly spaces and be better for our environment. They will allow for innovative technology and 21st century teaching and learning.
The 21st Century School Buildings program is positively affecting my education and my city.
That's right. Learn more about this major commitment from the state, City of Baltimore, and city schools by visiting baltimore21stcenturyschools.org. Building a brighter future together.
I'm a first-generation college student, so there wasn't much help from from home with the process. Like, they encouraged me, but they didn't really know how to go about the process. So I worked here at North Avenue last year as Student Congress President, and I received a mentor, Dr. Jessup, who works here, and she helped me with the college process, her and her husband. If I didn't have her, then it would have been way harder than what it was.
Welcome back to Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Mark Doty here at the historic Parkway Theater in Baltimore with Piper Watson, co-creator of the Station North Tool Library. So, when people learn how to make things themselves, do you think it becomes easier for them to detach themselves from the many late stage capitalist concepts like overbuying that we see? So in other words, do people learn how to be better spenders when they?
Absolutely, and I definitely have undergone this transformation of emotions where I'm a consumer and I like shopping with the best of them. But when you start to break the process down of building something for yourself, then all of a sudden you start to pay attention to how something's made and whether or not it's actually worth your hard-earned dollars to buy it. Or you could go and make it yourself, but you really start to pay attention to those things, and it's made me be a more conscientious consumer, and not only really caring about buying things locally, but where that dollar goes when I spend it. Is it going to support a local business? Because I feel like that is really important, but not only just for the sake of supporting a local business, but because it's a really well-made thing, a food item, a furniture item, a clothing item, whatever. There's love and intention and skill that goes into it, and it has a little story to it, and I really appreciate that.
So you probably haven't bought anything from H&M or Zara in a while, have you?
Well, I mean, they've got great sweaters, so every once in a while, yeah. They do. They have great sweaters.
So what's a project made at the library that's really involved? I mean, what's a project made at the library that's really improved the community?
Gosh, I mean, I hate to be so vague, but I really do think that just the library being there has created, it's almost like a hub of activity. And it's a place where people's mini victories are celebrated. So for example, you could go into a friend's house and maybe they help, patch up a hole in the wall. That took time and effort for them to do. And you may not notice unless you've done something similar. And it's a place where people can say, hey, I did that too, and high five, because that was hard and I get it. And so I think that kind of grows outward, that sort of empowerment and sense of community and sense of just, belonging somewhere and being recognized for your efforts. It has an impact, and the impact, just grows and the reach grows. So I'd be curious to see how the library has impacted people's lives, 10 years from now, if we start to see, even more homeowners that are buying fixer-uppers and feeling empowered to do those things themselves, or even just, more youth, taking our classes and feeling like they are armed with the knowledge to take on larger projects and do even bigger and better things.
There are a lot of fixer-uppers to be bought.
There are.
So what kind of things can people build themselves to make Baltimore brighter?
Honestly, really anything in your immediate environment. I mean, you can think about what are the things that you can do to empower yourself? Like, what are the stumbling blocks that people have mentally when they take on something new? Oftentimes people look at projects and they see the whole thing and it feels overwhelming, so they just stop, or they don't start to begin with. But the process of like a lot of our classes and the way that we all approach problem solving is setting up these like mini victories to kind of get to the larger goal. So I think, you know, people being able to find that pathway and build like a sense of empowerment for themselves, I think that goes into building a brighter Baltimore, if each individual had that sense of empowerment.
Yeah, that's definitely something to like think about. Yeah, I like that, thanks. So let's take our last break for this episode, and when Baltimore Pioneers returns, Piper will talk more about how youth can get involved and improve their lives with the tool library. Don't go anywhere.
Everyone has a role to play when it comes to making sure each student is in school every day. By working together, the entire school community can create a school climate that makes school a place where students want to be, and a place where teaching and learning can thrive. Schools where students and families feel welcomed, supported, and respected reinforce a culture of high attendance expectations and are exciting places to be. So do your part in making sure that all of our students are in school every day, ready to learn.
I am a Baltimore City Public School student.
I'm a Baltimore City Public School.
Je suis Baltimore City B.
Salut, je suis une élève de Baltimore City Public School.
Soy un estudiante de Baltimore City Public Schools. أنا طالب في مدارس بالتيمور الحكومية.
We are Baltimore
City Public School students.
And we celebrate diversity
every day.
School cafeterias have been making some changes. Whole grains, whole milk, fresh fruits and vegetables, some of them delivered from the district's own farm, and it's all free. Every city school student can now eat breakfast and lunch free every day.
It's been good so far.
Because it's like they gave me a choice, and I like having a choice.
Now that's something to snack on.
College life so far, how you expect it? I mean, it's not the glamour that you see on television and everything. I mean, it's a lot of work, especially transitioning from being a high school student to a college student, because you have like a lot of free time, so you have to learn how to balance that, like who your professor is and how to study, how to make sure you're on your best for each and every class. So it's like really having to have self-control over yourself to say, I want to do my best.
Welcome back to the final segment of this episode of Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Margaret Doty, here with Piper Watson from the Station North Tool Library. So, why should people my age be interested in the library?
Because you could do anything, really. I mean, you've already expressed interest in the skateboard making class, which is the best, but really learning just how to use basic tools. There's that sense of empowerment that I was talking about. But it just sort of opens doorways in your imagination. And like if you're out at the mall shopping, or if you're looking for, you know, a piece of furniture to take to college, you kind of start to think about things a little bit differently. So it's an eye opener.
What kind of other things might I be able to make that would improve my teen life?
Sure. So it really just depends on what you're interested in. But honestly, a lot of our classes, from basic woodworking skills, we try to wrap up kind of dry material into really interesting products. So we have a wooden spoons and spatulas class that everyone is really down with, because you can basically, it's like freestyle woodworking. There's no measurements. You just get your block of wood and you can go to town and learn about how you use hand carving tools and sanders and all kinds of stuff. And then we have things like the skateboarding class, but also coffee table making, cutting boards. We have a gardening and permaculture class, so if you're interested in, garden design, a lot of it kind of feeds in with other interests. So I think anyone of any age would be interested to come in to see what we've got to offer. Our chef's knife making class is sold out within like 2 days that we list it, and that's a really fun one that we've had kids as young as 12 take, because people get to work with wood and metal at the same time, and you're forging steel, and it's awesome, and you feel like really rad afterwards. So that's how we try to build the classes. Like, you walk away and you just feel great.
Yeah.
Maybe made a couple friends too.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to like make their own knife.
Right, and like feel really strong afterwards.
That's funny though. So do a lot of Baltimore City Public School students get involved with the library?
To some extent. We have a lot of Civic Works kids come through. We do, our shop safety class is like a prerequisite for most of our other classes, and we kind of tailor it. So instead of just the normal project that people make, which is letters for like a giant marquee that we have in the public workshop, they get to make ping pong paddles and like have a little competition afterwards. So we try to do a little bit of work during the school hours, because a lot of public city schools don't have wood shops anymore, and it's still a skill that people are interested in doing. A lot of kids like want to go into the trades, into construction, or into carpentry, and so we try to offer custom classes during school hours for those groups.
Oh, that's cool. So do they get out of school like scot-free to come?
I don't know how that end works.
Well, I'll figure it out.
Okay,
I'll be
you
there.
get back to me.
I'll be there. So what's the coolest thing that you can think of off the top of your head that a student's made at the library?
Actually, this one's kind of crazy, but we had a high school student come in and make a scale model that was probably about 6 feet wide by 6 feet wide of Auschwitz. He was doing his entire he was a high school senior doing his entire senior project on the history of Auschwitz, and he made this like model all out of wood, all hand done, all hand painted, and it took him 6 months to do.
No, that's really powerful.
It was really powerful,
Yeah.
really, really powerful.
That's crazy. Did he have to get a lot of help to do it?
So he hired one of our instructors to kind of be a DIY coach. So she helped him kind of lay out his plans, figure out what tools he would need to use, taught him how to use them, and then let him roll. And he did the whole thing himself.
That's some real devotion for your senior project. That's
Right?
crazy.
I thought so.
So how can the youth get involved? People my age who maybe want to volunteer or, take some classes, or want to take out some tools, but we can't because we need our parents to sign off.
Yeah, with membership, we do need people that are 18 or younger than 18 to have their parents also be members, But really, anybody can come in and take any of our classes. And I would recommend, if somebody is interested, to just come in, take our shop safety class. You don't have to be a member to take classes, and check it out. We've also had kids from Baltimore School for Performing Arts become volunteers and help out. So we have lots of volunteer opportunities, whether it's one time at some of our events, or if you want to be a regular weekly volunteer as a tool librarian. It's a super fun way to really get to know some really rad people in this city that also believe and share in the same values.
Ooh, I bet we know a lot of the same people.
We could.
Probably. Well, unfortunately, this brings us to the end of Baltimore Pioneers. So thanks so much for taking the time out to talk to us about just all the great things that the Tool Library can be.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank you for watching Baltimore Pioneers, a program where we talk with thinkers and doers in Baltimore. And I would also like to thank the beautiful Parkway Theater for allowing us to film here. This show is produced by the City Schools Student Media Team and is brought to you by the Proximity Project and Education Channel 77 of Baltimore City Public Schools. This has been Baltimore Pioneers. I'm Mark Doty. See you next time.